Shalom, call hello, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Shem Akakodash, double honors to the other apostles and other bishops of the great millstone, even the elders that came before them that taught us his truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers that pushing the word of truth and its sincerity, the hopeful light tabernacle of David. And the brother slash elder Yahshua one. Shalom and salutations to you all. This is the World War III Daily Update, and today is War and Rumors of War Tuesday, where we read Matthew 24:6, and we look for this famous phrase right here, wars and rumors of wars. And we read it in its entirety. Matthew 24:6 in the King James. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be in trouble, for all these things will come to pass, but the end is not yet. Right? Then what we do is we go in and we read some of these other versions and we look for the differences. NIV is the same. We got rumors of war. Wars and rumors of war. But in LT, it's wars and threats of wars. Down here in the good news, we got news. Good news is the news of battles far away. Down here in the Aramaic, reports of war. It's going to happen that you're going to hear battles and reports of wars. So when you take it in its entirety, wars and rumors of wars means or culminates into fame or famous. War will be famous. World War III will be the talk of the town, noised abroad. Do we see that now? Let's let Richard Wolff tell this. Professor Richard Wolff is going to spin a yarn. He's going to tell us about some rumors, some threats. He's going to give some reports and some news. Take it away, Rich. Dick, as they used to call Richards. They used to call Richards back in the day, Dick. Take it away, Dick.
We're watching something extraordinary unfold in the Caribbean right now. Something that would have been unthinkable just a decade ago. Russian warships have arrived in Venezuelan waters, not for a routine port visit, but as a clear statement of geopolitical intent. This isn't just about military hardware or naval posturing.
It's about World War III. Make no mistake about it. What is Russia doing over here? Getting into matters that have nothing to do with this side of the World War III.
What we're witnessing is the fundamental restructuring of hemispheric power that the United States has taken for granted since the Monroe Doctrine of 1823. For 2 centuries, Washington has operated under the assumption that the Western Hemisphere is America's exclusive sphere of influence. That assumption is now being directly challenged. Russia's naval presence in Venezuela represents Moscow's answer to decades of NATO expansion eastward to the placement of missile defense systems along Russia's borders and to what the Kremlin views as relentless American encroachment.
Stop it right there and just try to get you to understand how important the Russian missile crisis was. This is that on steroids. Russia just moved a bunch of missiles within striking range of the United States, and nobody seems to bat an eye. What do they call it? They call that World War III.
Show your daughter.
Slovakia. Let's get that.
Venezuela, meanwhile, sitting on the world's largest proven oil reserves, has become the focal point of a much larger contest about who.
World War III. Venezuela and all that oil have become the focal point of World War III.
Sets the rules in global affairs.
Global.
Sanctions, the diplomatic isolation,
World War.
Threats of military intervention, none of it has brought about the regime change Washington demanded. Instead, it's pushed Caracas deeper into partnerships with Moscow, Beijing, and Tehran. We need to understand what's really at stake here because the consequences reach far beyond Caracas or Moscow. This is about whether we're moving toward a multipolar world or clinging to a unipolar order that no
world order. What are you saying? World War III order?
longer reflects global realities. Let me take you back to understand how we arrived at this moment, because nothing in geopolitics happens in isolation. The story of Russian warships in Venezuelan waters is really the story of American foreign policy over the past 3 decades and how that policy has systematically alienated potential partners while driving adversaries into each other's arms. When the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, the United States stood at an unprecedented moment of global dominance. We had won the Cold War, or so the narrative went. American policymakers believed we had reached what Francis Fukuyama famously called the end of history, the final triumph of liberal democracy and market capitalism. But what did we do with that moment? Instead of building a genuine framework for global cooperation, instead of integrating Russia into European security architecture, instead of creating institutions that reflected the interests of all major powers, we chose expansion and dominance. I remember the debates in the 1990s about NATO expansion. There were wise voices warning that pushing NATO eastward would be seen by Russia as a fundamental threat.
We could let him talk, but I'm going to end it right there. I'm going to end it with covered fields real quick, and then we'll circle around back to it is going to happen that you are going to hear battles and reports of wars. Take heed that you be not troubled, for it is necessary for all these things should happen. It's necessary that all these things should happen, but it will not yet be the end. Okay, what did I say I was going to get? Forgot what I said. It was that quick. I don't know what I'm gonna get. I'll get Ezekiel, I guess. Where was I gonna go? What are we discussing? Hypers. It says Russian naval power arrives. Okay. Let's just go to Ezekiel real quick. Russian firepower, what is that? Naval power arrives in Venezuela. Okay, so where is that in the scriptures? We'll read it in the Berean Standard Bible. Ezekiel 38:7. Get ready. Who is this speaking to? The land of the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, the land of Magog. It's talking about Russia. Russia, get ready, prepare for yourself, Russia, you and all your company gathered around you. It says prepare for, what does it mean prepare for? You go get all the ammo. Go get all the jets, the hypersonics. Get all that you need for you. It says get ready, prepare yourself, you and Venezuela. You will be their guard. Who arrived? Russian naval power arrives to do what? Guard Venezuela. You will be a guard unto them. Are they not assembled unto them? Did they just take the flotilla over there just for a show of power, or are they going to bust off cruise missiles? I saw something that said Russia sending missiles to Venezuela. No, Russia going to fight the war. for Venezuela. I just saw that a minute ago. Let's see. Anyway. Yeah. So let's go. Look, new axis of evil or axis of defiance. North Korea, Venezuela. It's called World War. Where's the boogeyman? North Korea, Venezuela, World War III. All right, anyway. So, I mean, I can let Richard go on and drone and tell more stories with rumors, innuendo, and bullshit.
George Kennan, the architect of America's Cold War containment strategy, called NATO expansion the most fateful error of American politics.
Covet Fields. Ended on this. Who's doing this? What are you doing, Esau? You're stealing people's land. In the NLT, Micah 2 and 2. When you want a piece of land, you find a way to seize it. When you want someone's house, you take it by fraud and violence. You cheat a man of his property, stealing his family's inheritance. Esau, you'll never change. With that, we hope the elect gratified you, brothers and sisters. Shalom.